Hello, Year 12. It's now Thursday, the 18th of June. It's only a couple of weeks until you're going to have the opportunity to come into school and have some teaching, face-to-face teaching from your teachers, which I know so many of you are looking forward to. You're going to get a timetable very soon from Mr. Wheeler with the plan. Expect to have a kind of day of teaching per subject over those 2 weeks. So yeah, you're going to get your own timetable from Mr. Wheeler very soon. For those of you that are able to come in, what I wanted to do actually in this assembly today is think a little bit further ahead. I wanted to think about September. We're then going to hear from Emma, and then you're going to hear from me with some deadlines. So in terms of September, then preparing for year 13, of course, across the country, across all schools, it's unclear exactly what school life might look like in September. We are hoping that things will look fairly normal, but we don't, of course, know that for certain. But I wanted to plan for September as much as we can, and that's kind of what we're talking about in this assembly today. So you are going to be asked after this assembly to complete a survey. It only takes 2 minutes. You have to complete the survey. I'll be chasing you to complete it if you don't fill it in. And actually, it's a good kind of indicator to make sure that you actually watch these assemblies. So yeah, make sure you fill out this survey. And in the assembly now, I'm going to talk you through the things that you need to know, your options, so it's clear when you're filling out the survey what you have to do. So at the end of the assembly, you're going to be asked to complete a survey which confirms that you're wanting to continue into year 13. We need to know that now. Your supplementary option and whether you would like to be a subject mentor, tutor mentor, transition mentor, and or lead a club or society in year 13. So there is a link to the survey. It will only take about 2 minutes to complete, if that, and you need to do it by a week on Friday. If not, I will chase you for it. So please do it straight away. Your options can still change though. So if you do fill out and then you change your mind about something, do get in contact. It's really not the end of the world. We just would like to start planning, and we need to now know what you want to do. So yeah, we're trying to plan as much as we can for September. What school looks like still remains unclear. I'm sure you appreciate that. So in terms of the curriculum, year 13, all year 13 students study, the vast majority study 3 A levels plus a supplementary option. And I'll talk about supplementary options next. Some students might prefer to study 4 A levels, but that's not recommended, apart from those doing the further maths A levels. But the vast majority will be doing 3 A levels plus a supplementary option. Thinking about the other kind of wider curriculum, you don't have core next year, but you do still have a tutorial slot in your timetable, and you do have weekly pastoral time. It's not on a Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, it's on a Wednesday in year 13. It usually alternates between an assembly and tutor registration. What we're able to do in September, we will know at some point, won't we? So with supplementary options, so the vast majority of you, nearly all of you, will be doing 3 A levels plus a supplementary option. So many of you are doing EPQ. You've already said you'd like to do that. You should have received an email from Mr. Wheeler on Monday talking you through the next steps, because you'll be completing your proposal very soon. Some of you are doing math studies already, this 2-year AS. I've said a 4th A level, although that's not recommended. Latin, Greek, you could do that as a qualification. You've also got the option that most of you might pick, work experience or volunteering in school or out of school, and then for others, the independent wider study program. I am going to argue that regardless of whether you do an EPQ or math studies or a 4th A level, really you should all be doing work experience, and all should be doing some wider reading anyway. But just doing the option of work experience and volunteering or independent wider study program as part of your supplementary options just gives you a little bit more structure with that. So in terms of work experience and volunteering, so in a minute you're going to fill out the survey, and if you are wanting, this is the option you need to tick if you are wanting to do work experience and volunteering. So the volunteering and work experience must be appropriate to an A-level student. You're going to be asked to come up with some clear objectives, and it must be appropriate to an A-level student. Maybe thinking about your skill set, thinking about your progression plan. It must be appropriate to an A-level student. You can either do this in school or out of school. It can't just be normal paid work that you do. It should be for an hour a week, or you could do it in larger blocks, maybe 2 hours per fortnight. Josie is going to soon ask you for your objectives for the placement. so at the beginning of September. We'll then communicate the objectives to the placement and check up on your progress, and you'll be asked to review the progress of your placement towards your objectives at the middle and end of the year. So it's volunteering and work experience. It could be in school, it could be out of school. Some of you might want to do it out of school. You might have already identified a really good contacts. You might have planned a really good work experience week, but unfortunately that wasn't able to happen. And therefore that might be someone you could go to and say, look, could I do some regular work experience or volunteering with you next year? In terms of in-school volunteering, though, there are 4, I think, clear options here that you might want to pick. This in-class support is when you help it actually in a main school lesson in a particular subject with a particular teacher once a week. You could be a GCSE mentor, so you could work with a particular subject, a year 11 student. You might want to do year 7 literacy support. I know many of you were doing that last year on a Thursday morning, if I remember correctly. You were helping year 7s with their reading. That's something you could do. You've also got the science prep room. I know often there's capacity for maybe a student or 2 to help there. So that's an option as well, just to give you some ideas of what to do in school. If in doubt about work experience or volunteering, whether you do it in school or out of school, you're not sure, I recommend going with in-class support. It's really structured, it works really well around your timetable, it's only an hour a week, and would really benefit main school as well as your skill set, your confidence. So it will be helpful in lots of ways. Some of you, though, might want to do independent wider reading as your supplementary option. Although I've said already, everyone really should be doing some wider reading to help engage in your studies. So you could do independent wider reading as your supplementary option. But as I said, all students will be encouraged to spend time doing this. You would stretch your academic engagement through agreeing a research action plan with, again, clear objectives and sources. It could be online courses like MOOCs, wider reading of academic books, journals, academically relevant fiction, or maybe even attending academically enriching courses, events, or lectures at universities. I mean, I imagine lots of those will be more likely to be online, but still definitely something you could do. You record evidence of your work in your planner. Again, you should be spending maybe an hour a week to 2 hours a fortnight, or doing a block to 2 hours a fortnight, but an hour a week is the minimum you should be doing. On our school website, there is lots of links to interesting sites to do with online courses. You've also got some the major MOOC providers there as well, and the wider reading list for subjects. So that would be a really good place to go to if you wanted to do independent wider reading as your supplementary option, but actually really helpful for everybody. So on the survey, then you will be completing what your supplementary option is. And also what you'll be doing on the survey is you will be telling me what you would like to do as your other enrichment opportunities, what you'd like to get involved in. I would really encourage all year 13 to do some mentoring. Again, great for you, great for your confidence, your skill set, and great for other students in the community. So a significant number of year 13 students volunteer their time. I'd like all of you to do this if possible, to support year 12 students in their learning and well-being. So we've got different sorts of mentors you could act as. So these include transition mentors, subject mentors, and tutor group mentors. So transition mentors are representatives from each of our feeder secondary schools. We don't usually have transition mentors for our Redcliffe main school, but for all our other feeder secondary schools, there is real value in that. In having someone like you who's sharing your advice and supporting students who are completely new to the school as new year 12 students, but came to us from your feeder school, or actually maybe didn't come to us from your feeder school, but maybe you came to a school where maybe not the normal feeder school, maybe you've been new to Bristol, and you would like to help support a student in a similar situation. That would be great. You've also got subject mentors, so representatives from each subject who love the subject and maybe considering studying at a university, who will run some subject support sessions like you had last year with the year 13s. They will manage an Instagram feed on behalf of the subject and may support specific year 12 students who need help getting grips with the subject. Lots of you I know benefited from that one-to-one support with the year 13s this year. So if you'd like to be a subject mentor, if you'd like to be a transition mentor, do indicate that on the survey. With subject mentors, we usually pick 2, sometimes 3 a subject. So dependent on the demand, and the interest, I might have to go to teachers and ask them to choose from a list of students. So if you would just on the survey indicate if you'd like to do that or not, it'd be great if you could. Maybe indicate more than one subject, so you offer a bit of flexibility there. I will then go to teachers and ask them to confirm names, and I'll come back to you. And then finally, tutor group mentors. You will know this from last year because you would have had year 13 tutor groups come into the year 12 tutor group and talk you through and share their experiences of the stresses and strains of things that happen in year 12, like preparing for exams, thinking about university or work beyond school. So again, it'd be great if lots of you could be tutor group mentors. If you could indicate that on the survey as well, that'd be brilliant. So you can do more than one type of mentoring, but everyone should do at least one. I think it's in your interests and definitely great for you, as I said, in your confidence, your skill set, and the community in sixth form. Clubs and societies. So you will know at Radcliffe, we do put on a loads of clubs and societies to support our students, mostly during lunch times. There's that big enrichment fair at the beginning of year 12 where we cram everybody into the common room and to hear all about clubs and societies. Yes, that probably looks unlikely, doesn't it, in September, but you never know. But we are going to still put on, hopefully, as many clubs and societies as we can in September in one way or another. So we would now like to know which club societies you would like to run and whether, and hopefully lots of you will be keen on leading them. So year 13 take a lead on the organisation and leadership of those clubs and societies that meet usually once a week during lunchtime. We really need to be running some of the societies. It's really important, like for example our BME, feminist, LGBT plus, Green and Christine Union societies. They are usually really well run, and students have really benefited from those societies in the past. So please put your name forward if you are keen to run and lead one of those societies. Actually, I'm sure some of those you've already discussed amongst yourself and maybe with last year's leaders who might do that. But please let me know on the survey because I don't always know. But also all the other fantastic clubs, from debating to music to games club, that we put on at sixth form. If you are keen to run an existing club or society or start up a new one, please include that on the survey as well. So now I'm going to hand over to Emma, and then you're going to come back to me with the deadlines. So finally, in terms of deadlines, so register for UCAS by Friday the 19th of June. So you remember from the assembly last week, Miss Isaac talked you through how to register. It takes about 20 minutes. And even if you are 100% certain that you are not going to be applying to university at any point soon, we still would like you to register to keep all your options open because things change all the time. So please register for UCAS by this Friday. It's Friday the 19th. That's this coming Friday, and continue to work on your personal statement. Following the guidance that Miss Isaac's already provided, and I know tutors are really keen to support you with that. So you should be working on your personal statement. Another deadline is if you're doing EPQ, Mr. Wheeler would have sent you an email with this guidance, what you have to do next. It's about responding to teacher feedback and thinking about your proposal, proposal part A of EPQ, Project Q. So by Friday the 26th, that's a week on Friday, please do that. And then finally, from today then, from this assembly, you have to complete the survey to give us an indication of what you want to do in year 13 and to confirm that you want to be in year 13 by a week on Friday as well. Knowing that things can still change though, so please get in contact if you fill out the survey and then you change your mind about something. And if you wanted to discuss anything about the survey, do get in contact with me to have that conversation. So yeah, make sure you do those things. Do let us know, continue to let us know. We can do anything to help. We are really looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, as many as you I know as possible. And have a great rest of your week.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Good Mental Health Tip. There was a thunderclap a minute ago so loud that I actually jumped out of my skin. So I hope that you all heard it and that you're all loving this storm. It's really cool. And that you're all okay. If you're not, don't forget to get in touch with me or Helen or your tutor, and they can put you in touch with us if you'd like one of us to contact you. This week's Good Mental Health Tip is about playing our part. It's really important for all of us and our sense of well-being that we feel like we belong, that we feel like we have a group where we fit in, where we are accepted. And that doesn't mean that we all have to be the same, that we all have to dress the same or look the same or think the same, but we can accept each other in our diversity and in our differences, and in all of that, we feel like those people love us and know us. That's really important. And one of the things that's really good about that is that quite often that gives us the opportunity to play our part, to contribute in some way. And I know that Mr. Shaw is talking this week about all the different opportunities there are, like becoming a senior student or leading a club or society or being a part of the kind of bigger picture of life in sixth form, transition mentors, subject mentors, all of those things. There are loads of ways that you can get involved, and part of that gives us that sense of belonging, gives us that sense of I am taking part in this. Now, I'm not saying that to advocate necessarily being part of stuff in school, because you might be doing that in 1,000 other ways through your church or scouts or youth group, or like some of your young caring mentors, all kinds of things. I know that you guys are really involved, or the environment or Black Lives Matter. All of these things give us that sense of belonging and playing our part. But I just want to really encourage you to think about how you do that. Where do I invest my time? Where do I belong? Where am I contributing to making this place better, making other people's lives better, making my life better? It's actually really good for our own mental health to feel like we are contributing, to feel like we are playing our part, that we are part of something bigger, and that we can actually make a difference or lead something or be a part of championing a cause. All of those things are really important. So again, I hope you're all okay. If you're not, please get in touch, and I will see you next week.